In the deep darkness of the Moscow night, you wearied after a long flight, hovered between wakefulness and sleep in your rented car. The city lights flickered through the rain on the windshield, creating the illusion of another world existing beyond the borders of your reality. You stopped by a historic hotel on Arbat Street, deciding that this was where you would begin your adventure. In the lobby, smelling of antique books and musk, you noticed an old mirror in a wooden frame, covered with the dust of ages. Your room was on the top floor, where the corridors seemed endless, and the worn carpet whispered stories of long-past dramas. A terrible fatigue overcame you, and you flopped on the bed, not paying attention to the small portrait of a stranger in the corner of the room, whose eyes were full of sorrow, or warning. Your sleep was uneasy. You dreamt of Moscow not as you had seen it before, but distorted, transformed into a labyrinth of abandoned buildings and dimly lit alleys where whispers and footsteps sounded, though no one could be seen. You wandered through these alleys, trying to find an exit, but each turn led to a new silent nook. And then you saw him, the spirit of Moscow. Indefinably ancient, marked with the spots of time on his blurry suit, with a face as if cut from the shadows, he stood in your path. A cold wind suddenly howled through the narrow streets, and you heard his voice, penetrating and full of sorrow. You have chosen the wrong path, wanderer. The spirit touched your hand, and instantly your consciousness was filled with visions of Moscow through the distortions of time, snippets of lives that had laid down each brick of this city. But suddenly it all stopped, and you woke up to a sharp knock on the door. "Your order," sir, sang the voice outside. You jerked awake, sweaty palms clinging to the unwelcoming cold sheet. You were in the room you had chosen yourself, only the knock. Strange, you hadn't ordered anything. The reminder of the dream and the spirit became something like a grim game of your consciousness, and you approached the door with a reluctantly beating heart. There was no one behind the door, but an old-fashioned postcard with a view of Moscow and a date going far back in the past lay on the floor. It was just a dream in which the past tried to convey an unknown truth to you, or a warning. Looking at the portrait in the corner now took on a new meaning, and you realized some dreams can walk among us, like ghosts in the shadow of our own fears.